Hi everyone. So today's short lesson is about supplementary and complementary angles. And if you looked at the notice and wonder from the previous page, you might have come up with your own definition. But let's clarify and give you the book definition, okay? Supplementary angles are two angles, so again, two angles whose sum, remember sum means addition, if they add together, is equal to 180. Now, you might be like, well, Coach Fred, that's just like the linear pairs. Well, supplementary angles don't actually have to be on a straight line. So remember, a linear pair is two angles that are adjacent. Supplementary angles don't need to be adjacent. Now, linear pair angles are supplementary, but not all supplementary angles are linear pairs. All right, so here's an example of how we might use that. So angle A and angle B are supplementary. So I know then that the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B, if they're supplementary, equals 180 degrees. Find the value of x and the measure of angle A and the measure of angle B. So I have to find three things. If given the measure of angle A is 2x and the measure of angle B is x minus 15. I'm sorry, my dog is running around crazy tonight. So if you hear him, that's what that is. All right, so the measure of angle A is 2x. The measure of angle B is x minus 15. And those are going to sum them up and equal 180. So I can use algebra to write an equation. All right, so I'm going to combine those like terms. So we get 3x minus 15 equals 180. And then we're going to add 15 to both sides. Remember, do the opposite operation to balance the equation, the basics of algebra. And we get 195. All right, so then we're going to divide by 3. And let's see, x equals, 3 goes into 19 6 times, so 65. All right, so now we can substitute our x. And so we found our x, so I'm going to box my answer. And then I can substitute 65 in for x to find a and b. So 2 times 65 is going to give me a, which is 130 degrees, so 130 degrees. And then 65 minus 15 is going to give me 50, so 50 degrees. And I can check by making sure that both my angles do, in fact, add to 180 degrees. All right, so that's a basic supplementary question. They can get harder if it's a word problem where you have to kind of use your algebra. So in this case, it says, find the measure of the angle that is twice as large as its supplement. All right, so here's what I like to do. I like to give a variable, okay? So I'm going to let x equal the supplement. And then 2x, because it's twice as large, 2x would be the other angle. So now that I have two variables and I know that supplementary angles equal 180, I can write an equation, x plus 2x equals 180 degrees. So that gives me 3x equals 180, and so x equals 60. So if the supplement is 60, then the other angle, which is what we're trying to find the measure of the angle, then that would be 120 degrees. All right, so supplementary equal 180, so now we got to look at complementary. So complementary is slightly different. Complementary is two angles whose sum is 90 degrees. So they're going to form, remember, 90-degree angles are right angles if they are angles that are next to each other. But if not, they're just going to be two angles that equal 90 degrees. So that means that the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B will always equal 90 if the angles are indeed complementary. Again, we have to remember that word, complementary. It's one of our definitions for this chapter. All right, so I plug in, substitute my values in for A and B. 3y plus 5 plus 2y equals 90. I want you to look at that. Two angles, they sum up to equal 90. All right, now we combine the like terms, so we get 5y plus 5 equals 90. And then I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides. So 5y equals 85. And let's check this one out. So then y would be, if I divide by 5 on both sides. 5 goes into 8 one time, I'm left with 3, and then 5 goes into 35 7 times. So y would be 17. All right, and then to find each angle, I'm going to substitute those values in. So for A, I'm going to do 3 times 17 plus 5. So 3 times 17 is 51. 51 plus 5 gives me 56. So the measure of angle A is 56 degrees. Now, to be honest with you, I could do two things. I could just do 90 minus 56 to get angle B, or I could do 2 times 17, which is 34, to get that other angle, those complementary angles. All right, guys, there's my lesson on supplementary and complementary angles. I will see you tomorrow in class.